guys, welcome to another video. This is part 3 of Secrets of the Tyne Metro. In this part we're going to try and get the last few stations incorporated into the video. We're going to start at North Shields, up to St James's, and then we're going to do Fellgate to South Hylton. So without further ado, let's get started. North Shields opened with the rest of the St James extension in November of 1982. It ended up getting rebuilt in 2012, giving it the black signs, as well as these really nice looking blue squares. We're going to be going down the lift to get down to where we need to be. Doors closing. It also managed to get these new wavy styled roofs on top of the seating area. And as you've seen at the beginning of the video, it's going to get its own transport hub, where it will be served by Go North East Services 1 and 307, 353 and 354, which are Arriva services which are getting replaced. It's also got the same map as Gate Stadium and South Shields. This is also where the blue line originally used to terminate when it operated. And this platform had terminated at platform 3, which is no longer in use, even though the buffers are still there, which is actually quite interesting. And they've also got a little bit of graffiti on them. Because platform 3 isn't used anymore, Nexus decided to put a black fence around the outside, and they've also managed to lock off the rest of the area and build a ramp to replace it, which is actually quite interesting. Here's another look at the whole building, and if you look to this side, you can see there's some old abandoned bus stops, which I don't think are important anymore because of the transport hub. The next station we have in the video is Meddow Well, which used to be called Smith's Park. There isn't that much to say about it, other than it did get refurbed in the 2010s. It's one of the very few metro stations to get a rename. And unlike Gated Stadium, it actually went out as Smith's Park when it first opened, because Gated Stadium was going to be called Old Fold, but it got changed prior to opening. This one didn't.
Next station is Dene.
We also go past the Howdon Metro Depot, which is home to some of the test track from the 1970s. The Howdon Depot is in between Percy Lane and the station we're jumping off right now, which is Howdon, which is actually quite an interesting one. You'll see why in a few seconds. The reason Howdon is quite special is it's the only station on the yellow line to have a level crossing. Most of the level crossing stations are towards the green line on the airport station. Here's the map inside the station. It's basically the rubbish one I don't like. I feel like that Metro logo is a bit too curvy for me. The stations that have a level crossing are Callison Parkway, Bankford, Kingston Park, Fordon, this one, Howdon, and East Boldon. We'll get to that later. And as you can see, Howdon is on the yellow line, and all the other ones are on the green line, making this one of the only station on the yellow line to have a level crossing. It got refurbed in the early 2010s. It even managed to get some new lighting. The level crossings is basically the same ones used on the other ones, except one specific one, which we will get to later on, and I think you already know which one that is. I don't know what it is, but the alarms at the level crossing here at Howdon are dead quiet. I would also like to note that in between Howdon and Chilingham Road, which we are not stopping at, the metro cars usually go along this. The absolutely amazing Willington Viaduct, which gives you a great view of what's down below. That's what I can say. I'm a little bit tired today because of the past few days I've been recording, and also I'm not jumping off at Chilingham Road because there's nothing to say about it. And now we have reached Seaburn, or known in English, Wallsend. Wallsend is actually quite unique because it has a lot of foreign language on the side, which is basically ancient Latin. It's had these since 2003, and they even kept them when they refurbished it 10 years later. And down there is Wallsend Interchange, where you can connect to Go North East services 41, 41A and Q3, as well as stagecoach services 39 and 40. Wallsend also has the most number of stairs for any station on the Tyne Metro without a lift or escalator. In total, 44 stairs. I would not like to climb up 44 stairs. At least it's got a ramp. Up next is Chilingham Road. Not much to say about it, except when it got refurbed, they gave it new lighting and new wall panels on the sides. It makes it seem a little bit like Haymarket. And apart from that, not much else to say about it. And I'm not 100% sure when it was actually refurbed. I believe it was either in the 2000s or the early 2010s, because I've seen one picture of it and it was from 2011. Up next is Byker, which is the final surface station we're going to have a look at on the yellow line. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear me because of the wind, but basically Byker's got the same design as Heworth and Chichester, but what makes this a little bit unique is Byker doesn't have a lift. And there's another metro car. 4016 and 4037. The outside of it's just a slightly bit longer than Heworth, probably the same size as Chichester. And here's the ramp. It doesn't have any escalators either. And this is actually quite surprising, and yet somewhat interesting. And you can change for buses as well, even though the announcement doesn't play. You can change to stagecoach services at Shields Road, which is along the road here, and go North East Coast Service 1 to Whitley Bay, Newcastle, Gateshead and Metro Centre. Also, the ramp is quite long, and to get into the entrance it's actually quite small. It's also got this huge poster. You can find it all on Shields Road. That's an ugly looking Peppa Pig. Probably one of the strangest I've seen. We've just made it to the first underground station of the video. Manors. Like the other underground metro stations, Manors was giving its own display thing. It had these big letters. Manors had red, very similar to Central Station before it was refurbished. And Gateshead and Haymarket had green. Haymarket had it until 2006. And Jesmond and Monument had blue. This is another station where you can connect to the national rail trains, as well as some buses from Newbridge Street. So we're going to go up the escalator and head to the national rail station. You guys are probably thinking, what do you mean national rail station? There isn't one there. Well, there is if you look up here. You're always going to see this anytime you head into Newcastle via the Tyne Bridge. All I've had to do is cross the road, and here is Manors National Rail Station, which is the least used national railway station in Newcastle. It's even got electric cables over it for some reason. I don't know if the metro goes across it. I don't think it does. I think it's probably electric trains. Here's the platform. It's the liners. It's the liner National Rail trains. There's a sign for the metro station, which I'm going to go back to. To head over to the last yellow line station. And I forgot to say, between here and Byker, you cross the Byker Viaduct, which I was going to get footage of, but my camera wasn't focusing. And now I'm going to go down the lift.
Station posters or visit nexus.org.uk.
And unfortunately over there's the map I'm not really a big fan of. Newcastle United! Toot! Black and White Army! That's right guys, I'm at St James's Park, the home of Newcastle United. The Black and White Army, get in! Whenever Newcastle United play, this is probably going to be one of the busiest stations. It got refurbished in 1999 and it was given the Newcastle United logo all over. It had black on the big font, unlike all the other ones. And there's also a football pitch in the tiles in the ticket hall area, with footprints and signatures of former managers and players for Newcastle United. And for some of these St James's Park symbols, it just says St James, because they were originally yellow. There's also two platforms. Platform 1, which I'm on now, and platform 2, which is over there, which sometimes gets used. Oh, look at that! They forgot to refurb that.
This train is for all stations to South Shields. Next station is Monument.
We've now re-entered the Green Line, starting with Fellgate.
Stand clear, lift doors closed.
Now I'm going to admit, I like the lift at this station. It's got a different light. It's got a unique lift. It's from 2002, the station obviously, along with the South Hylton extension, up through Sunderland. I think this is a lot better than the lift at Monument.
Smoking is not permitted on any part of the station.
It's also got a bunch of stairs. There isn't that much to say about Fellgate, other than the fact it was the first one on the Sunderland line, and the signs are white. And none of the Sunderland South Hylton stations ever got refurbished. They're all just the same. One interesting thing about this station, which is of course Fellgate, is that on some versions of the map that they use currently, it doesn't have the park and ride symbol, but on some of them they do. I prefer the one with the park and ride symbol. I think the car park's down there somewhere, can't remember. And also there's a fallen tree. We have just arrived at East Boldon, which is the most recent station to get a level crossing. This level crossing is a bit different because this one's got barrier gates. All the other ones don't have that. It's also got a car park. They should have kept the park and ride symbol on the map. It really makes sense for here because there's literally a car park down there. It's on the Sunderland line because it has the white sign. And on a Sunday it's usually served by Go North East Service 5A, which takes you to Fellgate, Jarrow and South Shields. I've always liked East Boldon because of the level crossing. Unfortunately, it has that. I really think I should just... Oh, this is a good comparison. That's correct. I don't think that's correct. It's also got different coloured panels. There's blue, green, yellowish colours. Maybe the South Hylton extension ones have that. And also, on the Sunderland lines, you get to see National Railway trains passing through. another problem is the screen's frozen. At Seaburn, there's a lot of signs for the beach, which is usually a 15-minute walk. It's also built right next to a windmill, which is just 1 minute walk away from the station. Sorry, I'm starting to get a bit tired. Further down the track we have Stadium of Light, home to Sunderland AFC. Like St James, it's got the colours of Sunderland, being red and white, but it isn't the closest station to the Stadium of Light. We have just jumped off at St Peter's, which has got quite a lot of the colour green all over the station. Let me just get my camera to focus. There. St Peter's is the last... I don't know what's going on over there. Anyways, St Peter's is the last one from on this side of the river. Oh no. Oh no. It's a kissing bug. I'm staying away from it for now. Anyways, St Peter's is unique. It's also got its own unique lift.
Doors open.
Unfortunately, it isn't in the best condition as it used to be.
Doors closing.
Unfortunately, the glass is broken. It's also got this glass window here, which is kind of cool, but unfortunately, it's completely smashed.
Platform level. Doors opening.
I really want Nexus to get it fixed, to be honest. Over there is, of course, the Stadium of Light. And down there is Monk Wearmouth. That's an old railway station. And there is the Wearmouth Bridge. This critter looks like a kissing bug. Let me know down in the comments if it is. Well, whatever that thing was, it hasn't bitten me. I tried breathing on it and it didn't work. The platform 2 lift is in even worse condition. This one is smashed too. Oh my gosh! They both look equally bad. Actually, to be fair, I think this one's worse. It stinks. Oh, not a good one. And down there is the bus stop where you can connect to Go North East Sunderland Connect Service 700. I really hope Nexus is able to refurb both of these lifts. And due to the times for metro waiting, I'm probably going to have to stay on and pass through the stations. So the last part of this video will be a bit quick, just to let you know. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if this is just a display or it's actually damaged. And also, in this area at St Peter's, there's an art installation somewhere, I think. And there are lights, which I don't know if are working at the minute. But it basically makes it feel like a whole little area of lights, which is actually kind of cool and interesting. If that Metro logo was changed up a little bit, I would be a little bit more impressed. That's the only thought I think it's about this version of the map. And I've just noticed this, but St Peter's has got 2 Metro help points. Next we have at Sunderland, which is an underground station. This is technically the National Railway Station. these are platforms 3 and 4. These are the ones that the Tyne Metro serve. And if you look over there, you can see gold on the platform 4 wall. It's also regularly served by Northern services. And the distance between here and Park Lane is the shortest distance, around 1 minute. Now we arrive at Park Lane, a station which didn't open with the rest of the South Hylton line. It's got the same lift as Fellgate. Park Lane opened in April 2002, about a month after the extension opened. And I believe it's an underground station, because it has that font. It also has purple, green and white. I believe it's the only underground station that looks like this. It's also got an escalator, which has lights on the sides. That's cool. And when you go up, you see this: Sunderland Interchange or Park Lane Interchange. Regularly served by Arriva and Go North East. And despite being from 2002 and got like a sort of OG design, it's actually got really high quality announcements from inside the station. It sounds a lot like Central and Haymarket for some reason, despite this being older than their refurbs. It's also the only underground station to have the white signs. And now we've reached Pallion, the 59th out of 60 stop. It's also the very least used. It's the least used station on the metro. 576 people per day on average use it. It's also got the longest ramp on any Tyne metro station. We've arrived at the end of the line. The end of the green line. South Hylton. Well, that was fun, for the most part. I'm only going to have to give you one shot of the station and that's it, unfortunately. But I can't explain it to you. So, South Hylton has the longest physical metro platform where it terminates. And down there is a path that used to be a railway that went up to Durham. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try walk up to Well to get either the 39 or 39A back down to Sunderland. And you may be wondering, what's the future for the metro? Well, there's going to be another extension that will head down to South Hylton, and that extension will run via Washington North, Washington South and Follinsby Park for the connections 4 and 58, as well as Amazon. So, I hope you enjoyed Secrets of the Tyne Metro. I have to go. Bye.